We're back. I got my guy Max P back here, and before we start this episode, there's been a lot. This episode is gonna go down a road that I haven't gone down yet. We're gonna jump into some fucking conspiracies, man. And right here, I wanted to start off with this, with all the Epstein news that's been going on since yesterday. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna take this clip up here of Mr. Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump at a party at Mar-a-Lago, I think it was, and we're gonna do the voiceovers for this. I can go first here. It's like, oh yeah, you see that little sweet, you see that sweetheart over there, you see that sweetheart over there. Yeah, when I had her at your island, Jeff, she was on your fucking ceiling fan. You remember that? On the fucking ceiling fan, Jeff. Yeah, on your fucking ceiling fan. Listen, see that one right there? Yeah, I was with that one last weekend. Listen, she's hot, right? Please.
Look at him. He's bending over and now he's pushing make sure he got the record button, bragging about some real estate and some fine ass he had. Your wife and your girlfriend and the chicks you had were all on me.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
all your guests that you brought, probably the blackmail, were all talking to me.
Yeah, all me.
I fucked up your whole operation. You know what? I should run the island. How about I run the island?
You see this shit right here? Let me pause this. I just noticed this right here. When Epstein smiles right here, he's got a devil mouth, man. He looks like a demon. Look at that shit.
Is a demon. You know what this guy is involved with? This guy is the definition.
He looks like he's straight from hell right there.
He's the definition of he's not like us. And some people are just different. Like,
if you were to take a sheet, if you were to take a page of the Bible and put it against his face, it would burn. look at this.
I am not a religious person at all, but the older I get, I realize there are real demons walking around this planet. There are people that are nothing close to human.
Welcome to the Ben Stortini Show, where stories drift between worlds and forgotten moments find new life. Let's begin our journey. Let's go. And welcome back, everybody, to the Ben Stortini Show. I'm your host, Mr. Ben Stortini. That's BenStortini. And today we have a very, very special guest. He is back by popular demand, Mr. Max P. What's going on? The entertainer, the entrepreneur, the Polo King. You're back, man. What's going on, dude?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Yeah, man. It's true, though, what you were saying what you were saying off the start there. Some people are just different, and you could just tell as you get older. Like, that was a really good point. It's like when you're younger, you don't really notice that shit, and then it's like the older you get, you're like, that dude might be from hell. Hell might be real.
Like the ones they show us in the movies and stuff. Yeah, man.
Well, let's get right into it, man. Like I said off the top, we're going to talk about conspiracies, man, and but a twist on it. I just want to sit here and put our tinfoil hats on and talk about conspiracies.
I never take it off, Poe. I never take it off.
Good, man, good. Keep it on for today. But it's like how it affects people too, right? Like how it's affected people's social lives, like certain people that don't know how to like pull themselves out of it. We'll get into that, but I wanted to jump into this right here, this Epstein shit, man. And first of all, actually, when were you first introduced to like basically like the veil was taken off of your eyes? Like, what do you remember when like the industry standard of life, you know, with the stories that you were told? Like, do you remember when you were like you started to question that shit? Do you remember that point in your life?
This was a controversial one. Maybe I shouldn't say it.
Nah, fuck, say it, man.
All right, I used to watch this show called Frontline on PBS.
I remember that shit.
20, 60 minutes type of show, right?
Yep.
You know, you always hear about the Israeli beef, right? Never paid attention to it. It's just something you always hear about. And so I'm watching a documentary on Netanyahu. I'm in my 20s. So this is like 20 plus years ago. You know what I'm saying? And it's a whole long documentary. And right at the end, right at the very, very end, like the last 5 minutes or so, they talk about a deal he made with some Arab terrorists and a bus in Israel getting blown up right before the election. And Netanyahu coming to the rescue as, I'm the one to save you. I'm the one to fight these guys. I'm the one, we're in a wartime economy. I'm a wartime prime minister. And he has been prime minister ever since. And so I'm watching the end of this like, wait a minute. This is like some controversial conspiracy. It's not PBS Frontline type of stuff. To accuse somebody of working with terrorists to get elected president.
And you're like, what?
So wait a minute.
This
These
isn't
guys are,
CBC News.
bro. I was just like, I had 100 questions. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
that whole situation was so confusing. It creates more questions than it answers, right?
Yes.
And so that's when I started to think back to all the Twilight Zone episodes I used to watch when I was younger, and all the
Twilight Zone.
X-Files episodes I used to watch,
Yep.
and just my natural affinity towards that type of shit. My favorite movies became stuff like Three Days of the Condor, The Parallax
Um.
View, and then the thing that just blew my mind was you had crazy conspiracy theories, and the conspiracy theories I thought were legitimate, right?
Yes. Yes.
So the
Yes.
crazy stuff is like, the aliens, Sasquatch, moon landing. But then
Yep.
I fell down a moon landing rabbit hole
Did
and
you?
came out the other side convinced. I was like, nope, didn't happen.
That shit didn't
Didn't
happen.
happen. Laughing at
Man.
myself. Like, it is what it is. I seen what I seen. I heard what I heard. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
It's the truth, man.
so getting older in this conspiracy world, it's like, okay, I understand why most people don't want to know anything about this stuff.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not that
man.
they're stupid. It's just, it's very, very scary
Yep.
to think that there are people in power that are capable of some of these things conspiracy theorists accuse them of.
Yes, and yeah, you nailed it, man. And you know what's crazy is the first time for me, and it where like I said, the industry standard just went completely out the window. Like that epiphany moment you had with Flatline, is
Mm-hmm.
I was introduced to this movie. Do you remember Zeitgeist?
Yes. Yes,
Dude,
Zeitgeist.
fucking
Great movie.
Cash brought that.
Early.
Put me on that. Like when it came out, I don't know how Cash got like a pre-order. I don't even know how he got that shit. But he brought that over,
Shout
man.
out to Cash.
Shout out Cole Cash, man. I remember sitting there watching this shit, and it changed my life. They started talking about Ra, the Egyptian god of the dead, and they started talking about how the religion. They started talking about 9/11 questioning and all this shit. And I remember
Crazy.
it blew my fucking mind because up until that point, I just was kind of going, steady pace. What the world was giving me was true. What the world was giving me was right. And then boom, I started questioning some shit after that. And I'm like,
What
wow.
Zeitgeist was so cool about Zeitgeist was them taking the parts of history that they don't explain to us or tell us different versions of, and then combining it with all this weird shit going on now. The Zeitgeist was very good at capturing the Zeitgeist. It was very good at
It
that.
really was talking about income tax, talking about all that shit, and I just remember I was like, that's when I started to question stuff, but then you start to realize it's like you said, what stuff being fed to you, especially now. Back in those days, there was no social media, there was none of that, so it's basically word of mouth. Somebody come over with a movie, watch this, or you see a show on TV, right? But now it's like the shit that's being fed to us. What is true? What is false? What is sent there to plant a seed in you to make you go a little bit crazy, to go down those rabbit holes? And it's funny that all news outlets, this Epstein shit, I just wanted to kind of like jump into that a little bit. It's like, first of all, this dude's dead. Let's go there. Do you think that dude was killed? Or do you think that dude killed himself? Because that whole narrative that he killed himself seems a little fishy to me. What do you think? What do you think happened with this dude?
I think he's either was murdered or he's still alive.
I didn't even think of that. Still alive. Ooh.
I've heard some very, very interesting stories about the guy in the Oklahoma City bombing. And
Timothy McVeigh, yes.
Timothy McVeigh, and obviously the Bin Laden situation was weird as hell.
Yep.
And there's lots of examples where, hey, this motherfucker might still be around, walking around somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like,
imagine. The crazy part is in his jail cell, he was put. I just did a little bit of research.
24 hours surveillance.
Yeah, and he had
cameras.
some fucking cop killer who was an ex-cop in his jail cell. Some big fucking jack.
Oh yeah. He had
steroid dude.
somebody that like chances are, or it could have just said he killed him, and they could have just blamed him, and we all would have believed it, right?
That's it.
I think he got moved out of the cell or something.
Yeah,
like
what
that.
happened to that guy? Exactly, what happened to this dude?
The whole, like, when you're dealing with someone like Epstein, like, I remember around the first Trump election, right around those times.
Yes.
I remember thinking, this Epstein shit with all the different names connected to it.
Yeah, Clinton, all of them. Yep.
Yeah, because I was into politics heavy at the time. Still am. Democrats have like during election time, Democrats bring in the celebrities, you know what I'm saying, and Republicans try, but
Beyonce, all
it's
that.
like Hulk
Yes, you're
Hogan
so
and Kid
right.
Rock and stuff like that. But Democrats have these celebrities, right?
Yes, yes.
And so with this Epstein story breaking out, I remember thinking it's not going to be a good look bringing these Hollywood celebrities on stage with this story out here like this. Because we're all trying to figure out who went and who did it, and you know what I'm saying? And then
So true.
The Diddy thing happened
Mm-hmm.
with right around the next Trump election, right? Like both times Trump got elected, celebrities were in a bad place. You know what I'm saying?
That's so true. That's right. That
You know
that
what
that
I
was
mean? Like
thrown out. That was
Democrats
thrown
couldn't
out to
use
the
that weapon. You
yes,
know?
yes, yes.
And so who knows if that's connected or a coincidence, but I remember thinking with Epstein, the celebrity stuff is going to die soon. And then with Diddy, I said the celebrity shit is dead. This is why Mr. Beast and Kai Cenat are the most famous people right now, right? Because nobody cares about the big Hollywood movie star or the big talented singer. Just sing and make your movies. We don't care about anything else you got to say or do, right? We don't care about who you're
Yes.
dating, what you're wearing. They don't care about your political views.
No, don't give a
And
fuck.
so the celebrity has died. Epstein and Diddy have killed the celebrity, bro.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he has. He's
Mm-hmm.
completely killed that side of things.
Like,
And it's
think
been
about
used
all
to
the Hollywood
weaponize.
people we used to think of as gods. And now it's like, did you go to the Epstein Island? Like, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
know what
well,
I'm
fuck.
saying?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
a
man.
crazy thing I heard about Epstein, the case, like he got convicted a couple times. But one
In
of the
Florida,
times he got
yep.
convicted, they had this weird thing in the settlement or the whatever, like when it was all done and stuff. All the people that were listed involved in the case, but names weren't allowed to be shown to the public or the
Redacted, yep.
jury. They had a thing in his conviction where all the people involved in this case are now can no longer be charged with this when it comes to this crime. All these people that we don't even know, right? The
Whoa,
jury
that's
doesn't even
weird.
know, but they got some kind of blanket pass. And it's
Whoa.
like, but how does that even work? Is that even legal? But then
That's when you know, you know you're dealing with something, because they say he was part of Mossad or he was this double agent. But you know what? This dude was. You're dealing with probably one of the most powerful fucking devil's advocate demon fucking places a piece of ass in front of you and says you can have that right now. I heard this story from I forget what podcast I heard it, but it was some economist or some scientist that was at an Epstein party.
Okay.
And Epstein, he came up
and
to
that was the crazy thing. It was scientists, it was entertainers, it was politicians, it was
artists.
anybody with weight on their name.
Yes, so he's at this party, and he went over to go talk to him, and he wanted to talk to Epstein, and Epstein's sitting there on a fucking chair, like this, like silk chair or something, like velvet chair,
like a velvet, definitely
yeah,
velvet.
red velvet for sure. You know, he's got fucking blood just a little bit dripping from this tooth right here, right? You know, and he sits there, and I guess the scientist said that, or the economist said he had this little girl on his knee. And he was bouncing her up and down. I guess she was legal, I guess at the time, but she was like 18 or something like that. There's a little bouncing, and he's trying to entice the scientist. He's trying to entice this economist or whoever he was by just bouncing, and he's looking in his eyes while he's bouncing the girl on his knee, and he's just like, "Yeah, I got you." Yeah, and he would work like that. He would set seeds, drop seeds at parties to people, and then just attack. So it makes me think, like, I wonder if those rumors, that's why I wanted to talk about conspiracy, like how it plants seeds in your brain. Like that one is too, it's almost addictive to think, who was this guy?
This was a man who was very, very aware of things like the MK Ultra program that the CIA was working on.
Yes, man.
He's someone who had access to all of that stuff they don't talk about or don't teach you in school, right? The stuff the military knows about. He definitely knew, because that technique you were telling me about, that's not just something he worked out on his own, right? Like he's doing something very, very, very scientific right there, right? You know what I'm saying?
He didn't even say a word. He was just bouncing her on his knee and staring at him.
Not saying a word. I'm pretty sure some scientists could explain exactly why he was doing each one of those things, right?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And so here we have a man that is like well connected, bro, and knows what he's doing.
I think that's exactly what he was. I don't think it goes any more than that this dude just got amongst a certain team. a certain bubble of people in the world that's their game. That's their game of starving guys out of their addictions and then blackmailing them. And just, you got that island that he had, you have all that, like it was just set up perfectly, like the bounce on the knee, you got the island with a lot of bouncing on the knees that's going on that no one needs to see, right? Because you were brought, don't worry about it, you're safe here, don't worry about it.
These are very, very, very successful people that he's talking to. He's hanging out with the most popular politician at the time, Bill Clinton, saying he's playing a saxophone in Arsenio Hall and shit, right? Now, did Bill Clinton get some tips as to how to become a cool older white guy from some of these people when he went on Arsenio Hall? Or was he just randomly cool like that and then they latched on to him? Like, where did the fuckery start, right?
Oh, man.
So you hear about, like, you ever heard of the World Economic Forum?
Yes, of course.
So you will own nothing and be happy, people.
Yeah. What is his name? The guy who runs that.
12-minute cities, Charles Schwab or something like that. His name is
something like Rockefeller Schwab, something like that.
Something Schwab, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some kind of connection to the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds somewhere down the line, but who knows whether that's because those people are really rich or because they really do puppet string on that level. I doubt they're micromanaging anybody like that. My guess is there's like an automatic system of, hey, you don't fit in this environment right here. You're asking too many questions. You gotta go. It's just automatic, right? There is no need to have a agenda against the person. If you get to asking too many questions, all of your coworkers will be like, "Hey, that's not right."
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly.
I listened to an article about an interview about a dude who worked for the New York Times, and he was talking about the reporters that got promoted, and the ones that did. And he was winning these like journalistic awards and stuff, but he wasn't getting any of the big money stories. He wasn't getting a big office. He wasn't getting invited to any of the parties. He started to look at the journalists that did get love and did get all the big promotion, and they never talked about anything controversial. They never talked about anything that was about regular class people. And he was from a middle class town, working class town, so that's what he was interested in. And then he realized, they don't want to know about anything when it comes to regular people.
No.
And that's how they do it. They don't tell you, hey, you're not going to get promoted if you talk about this or that. You just don't get promoted.
You just see it happen.
And maybe you could go in that direction and start doing what people who are doing to get promoted. Yes. And this is why every news channel is on the same bullshit, because they realize in some clicks, I'm getting clicks. Who cares if it's true? I'm getting clicks. I'm getting ad dollars.
And how fucked up is that? In a world of ad clicks and views, just attention, because it's the economy of attention.
The attention economy. Yeah.
You look at that and you say, okay, so if that's the case, if that's the world that we're living in, this shit that they're feeding people, like they're leaving some dead people in their wake, man, mentally, because there are people that can't pull themselves out of that. Like I can tell you and we can pull ourselves out of that. We can do. I remember, like,
we lived in a world before it existed.
That was just gonna go there. But those people that don't, those the younger generation that this has been everything. Like, do they look at that like that shit's Bible or you know what I mean? Especially with AI coming out now, it's like, what's up, what's down? How are these people able to like find out what's true and what's not?
There is a silver lining with these youngins, though. What I noticed with these youngins is they're quick to call out a streamer, a YouTuber, an influencer, or a celebrity on when they're trying to cater to folks. They're quick to point that out.
Oh, really? They can
cater to these folks, or you're just trying to. They can smell it because they grew up in that environment of people trying to lie to get attention, right? And so they can smell when people are running a similar program that someone else is running. If you have a new program, you'll get them every time. But if you're running a similar program that someone else is running, and they have eventually exposed themselves, the kids remember that and will point it out when you do. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. That's so good. Yes, that's like they figured out the science of the attention economy. Yes. And that's kind of like the old guys at the Epstein parties that didn't know that when he was bouncing that girl on his knee, he didn't know what he was doing there. But these kids, they see it a mile away.
Bro. He came in there raw. and just a sucker. He was fooled. You know, he was fooled.
Just an old school trick. You know what I
So
mean?
these kids are
Yeah.
getting wise to the ways
That's smart.
people try and manipulate them for attention. It's just when you're in that kind of environment where everybody is snaking,
Oof.
it's very easy to just not have any morals or principles and just look at the wins and the losses.
Yes.
But fuck
Yes.
what's right and what's wrong, who's winning and who's losing. When
Oh
that's
wow.
your whole world, it gets scary.
It gets very
Because the
scary.
people winning are nasty motherfuckers, bro. Like, I don't want my kid looking up to Whack 100 or Charleston White or DJ
Right.
Academics or Charlemagne the God or Don Lemon. These are
Mm.
horrible people, but they get pushed in our face all the time,
Oh,
right?
it's so true.
Our
And you have to
heroes
question
never
that.
get
Why
pushed
am I
in our.
seeing you
We grew
everywhere?
up with all kind of legends. The kids don't get to hear Don Juan Bishop break down game. The kids don't get to hear Big Meech break down money because he can't talk. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
like all the
Or
people that
Master
really
P. Like yes.
Master
Yes.
P, he can't really tell you how the industry works. Still Michael Jackson him. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like all of our heroes, they don't talk, but all the dummies got the big microphones, the
Oh my
Kanye
God, it's so
and stuff.
true.
You know what I mean?
Saying crazy shit, trying to get those ad clicks and the attention, man. So it's funny that okay, that's perfect, man. That is so perfect. So that is a perfect transition into this then. So you have these people that can't dig themselves out of the I guess the Conspirepstein hole that they've built, right? Conspirepstein. And so you get brain rot. These people, you know, they call it brain rot, where it's just like you're being infiltrated day by day and your brain is melting because it's constant. You're constantly being punched in the face by some nonsense. Who knows what's true, who knows what's not. So it brings me back into real life. So take yourself out of the internet for a second. And I want to go back. Yeah, like we were talking about the Epstein party. I want to talk about and flip the script real quick because it's going to make sense later. So the party scene. So the party scene in Toronto real quick. So I wanted to talk about weirdness, right? That happens in real life. You don't need to be around Epsteins. You don't need to be around Clintons and all this weird shit. You could the weird shit is right in front of you. And I wanted to ask you a question, like, what is the weirdest, like, when you were in the party scene for real, and I know you were, like, what was some of the weirdest shit you saw? Was there some like where it just made you look at like, what is going on here?
The party scene. Let's see.
Yeah.
The first interesting thing that I noticed, me and Fame noticed early, was with the music. All the people that had the industry connections, all the people that either worked for a label or had connections with a label, those people always went to parties that we wouldn't dare go to. Like, we would meet them at one place and they'd be, you know, cool. You know, we chop it up with them and, oh, I got these, you know, work for so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. And then they'd invite us to a party and it'd be like, wait a minute, this isn't my kind of event. I'm not going to this. You know what I mean? This got warning signs all over. Now, this is not my kind of party. Time and time again. Like, we'd meet these people. They'd have industry connections. They'd invite us to some kind of function, and they'd be like, no, that's not the kind of function.
Why are you trying to push me in here, man? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I remember we used to bang on Cash all the time because Cash was very good at hobnobbing with these kinds of people.
Yeah,
yet
he was.
Still being one of the homies. Like, he was so talented at that. You can talk to a person he couldn't stand for an hour if it was good for business. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like,
oh my gosh, that's so true.
But, you know, Cash had his own adventures at the time, so we couldn't hold him down. And, you know, we never really got a chance to link up with that side of the game, right?
Oh, man. I remember
get that deal, you know?
I remember me, it was, that's so funny. Like, you're being pushed into that sort of like that weird zone, right? I remember when I was doing shows around the city and I met some pretty strange people, man. Like in my Danny Stone days and my Big Poe days, like I met some pretty strange people. And I remember this one time, I was asked to come back to a party afterwards by some older dude at the time. He must have been like my age now, and his wife. And they're like, you should come to our party. We have some people over at our house, and why don't you come to this party? So I'm like,
wow.
And you remember, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Go.
So let's go. I knew something fishy was going on, but I'm like, fuck it, let's go. So we end up taking a cab at the time, Beck Taxi, and going there. And we get into this house party, and there's a few people in there, like probably about 15, maybe 15 people. Wasn't a lot of people. And you got to understand, like, I didn't do drugs. I still have never done drugs, and just drank and smoked weed. That was it.
Okay.
And I get in there, and this was the first time I was around a straight up industry coke party, where this shit was like, I walked in and everybody is talking a million miles an hour. There's nobody drinking, and there's a table in the middle of the living room with a fucking mound of that yayo, like Blanco, just a cloud from the heaven. Oh man, and they're all just scattering around it, going in, going out, going in, going out. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do here. So I'm like, all right, because I don't do that. So I'm like, do you guys have anything to drink? They're like, yeah, here, have a drink. You sure you don't want some? I'm like, no, I must have been asked like 20, 25 times. But the weird shit was, I was getting tired, but nobody's getting tired at this party because everyone. I'm like, I already did a show. I'm exhausted. I want to go home, and nothing's going on, right? So there was this one, I forget who it was, but they're like, just wait here. I want you to wait here. I want to talk with you later. I want to hang out with you later. Just wait here. It was so weird. Puts me in this other room, and I sat down, and nobody was in this room, and I looked around. No word of alarm, Max. There was fucking mannequins all around in the room.
Mannequins,
naked mannequins with lipstick on all of these fucking mannequins. I'm surrounded by mannequins, and closes the door on me. And I was like, whoa. It was like 4 a.m. And they're still going crazy in there listening to Basement Jacks. Like, where's your head at? And I'm like, room full of mannequins, man. So I got up, I drank my beer, and I softly tiptoed out of the room. I opened the door, looked out, and they're not seeing me. And I fucking dashed out of there. I was like, I am not staying here.
Yeah, good move.
Yeah,
that is wild.
Yeah. Super
wild.
Fucking weird, man. Super weird.
So you have your own Cat Williams story. Look at that.
Yeah, it was really, really weird. Yeah.
No, Inspector Deck has a similar story to that too. He was talking about this was back when DJ Vlad used to do the interview on the couch. Remember that?
Yep.
And so Inspector Deck is talking about Hollywood parties. This was before it's controversial to talk about gay people in the industry or anything, right?
No, man.
This was back when Fat Joe said there's a secret gay mafia that runs the rap game, right? And he never got canceled or anything, you know?
No.
You could say that nowadays, it'd be like an atomic bomb went off.
You know what would happen? This is what would happen.
And so Inspector Deck's talking about going to a party with a couple of his woo homies.
Yeah.
They were drinking, and there was like Naomi Campbell and big time celebrities there, and they started going upstairs, looking around in the rooms, and just like Cat Williams, he refused to say who he seen, but he said he seen people that everybody knows doing things they wouldn't believe they were doing. You know what I'm saying? We got
I remember
out of
Kat
there.
saying that shit. I was the first time I heard some shit about Hollywood like that, where Kat said that. He's like, I was walking around through this mansion party, and that's
Cat
when
Williams'
Kat
stand-up
started.
routine was a moment in history.
It was a moment in history.
Moment in history. And there was another moment in history with the Dave Chappelle. Hate to get on the gay folks like this. We don't got no problem with gay people, by the way.
No problem.
But the Dave Chappelle, when he came back from Africa and he went on the Oprah show, and he told the story about the dress hanging in the locker room, and the director, and all these different people coming at him one after the other. And Oprah just kind of looking real weird, like, why? Like she was scared he was telling this story. You know what I'm saying? She had that look on her
David,
face, like,
stop it, David.
You're gonna fuck us all up. And you can tell Oprah wanted the interview to be Crazy Dave, and Oprah kind of,
settling
working
him down.
through
The mother,
like a classic Oprah episode where Dave Chappelle breaks down crying.
Dave
you know
was
what I'm
too
saying?
smart.
I don't know why I did what I did, and then, right?
Dave was too smart for that shit.
The Cat Williams and the Dave Chappelle dress story were like, what's going on with these guys? And then the Epstein stuff, and then the Diddy stuff, and it's just like, dang.
I remember my first job in television before we switched worlds here and again, I have a gay uncle, man. I call him my Aunt Danny. God bless him. Love him to death, right? So listen, it was 2000, my first job coming out of college, 2001, and it was when digital channels first started, and it was with BPM. It was with this dance channel, right? This dance music channel. They'd be playing like Aphex Twin and again Basement Jacks, that type of shit, right? And I remember like this is when the old regime of TV. When the digital channels came in, the old regime, like the directors and the producers, they were getting out of the game. They're like, all right, this is not, they're retiring, they're getting out. And I remember this dude, man, I forget his name, but he was like one of the main head honchos. He was the patron, but he was the El Chapo of this place I was at. And he came up to me and he dropped some like fucking game on me that I look back at this now, he was completely right. And I don't mean any disrespect by this, but he looked at me 2001 and he goes, I can promise you, Ben, you're just getting in the TV game now. Watch what happens in 10 years. He said 2001, in 10 years, he goes, everything is going to go gay. He said, everything is going to go gay. He told me 2001. He said, your commercials, your shows, your game shows. He goes, that's where they're headed. And I looked at him. I was like, and at the time, 2001.
Yeah, 2001. You'd be like, we're just coming out of the 90s.
This was Girls Gone Crazy. This was that type of shit, that vibe. Like it was that vibe. But he was telling me it's going to get flipped on its head. And boom, it's going to go gay. And boy, he was fucking right.
Right on the money. How did he know that?
I don't know. And he looked me straight in the eyes and told me that.
You do have people that, have meetings and talk about what they want to do, you know? And he might have been in one of these meetings like, man, I might as well retire because this is not going in the direction I want to participate in,
I don't plan on sucking a dick.
Companies like Marvel, Disney, where they literally shit on their own fans. Where you'll watch the She-Hulk show and they're cracking on Marvel fans. You'll watch the Miss Marvel show and they're making fun of Marvel comic book fans.
Right.
You watch some of the clips from the new Star Trek shows and they turn Luke Skywalker into a cow milking coward. They killed Han Solo. I hate watching older movies done by younger cats because there's a pattern they follow. We're going to kill the past and embarrass it on the way out the door.
Holy fuck, you're right.
We're going to take your old heroes. We're going to take your old heroes. Think about the last Terminator you watched. And we were watching like 4 or 5 movies this guy been running from this motherfuckers. And then bam, he just gets shot at right in the beginning of the movie. He just gets shot and killed. And we're like, yeah, we're moving on from that. And by the way, this is what crystallized Hollywood for me when I watched that last Terminator movie. We all loved Terminator because the chick was badass.
Yep.
She was badass and she carried the movie. In a time where dudes were big and strong and muscly, this chick beat the robot, right?
She did,
It was like that and Alien made those movies so unique and cool.
So
you know?
Yep.
So in this new version of Terminator, they're talking about how the old storyline, and they're trying to explain how it's changed now. It was stupid for people to think that Sarah Connor was going to have the baby of the boy or of the future man that would save the world. No, this storyline, Sarah Connor's the one that saved the world. And anyone who thought that waiting for some son to be born to save the world was an idiot. And I was like, wait a minute. There's no need to diss the whole storyline of Terminator.
No.
And on top of that, if you're doing this on some feminist stuff, who's more badass and who's more of a hero than the chicken Terminator?
Exactly. You don't need to go there. You don't need to do that. That's that generation, man. I never thought of it like that. Like they just want to kill off that shit.
And they look at it all as everything from the past is bad and backwards and wrong. If it's old, it's bad, backwards, and wrong.
I've seen reaction videos of the younger generation listening to music from our era, and they're just going like this the whole time, like, oh, reacting every time they say something, like, oh, this is disgusting. I can't believe they listen to this shit, and then they're like, that was trash. I'm like, what the fuck? How can you just dismiss something like that quick and that fast?
But when you come into it with the mentality of it's old, it's backwards, you don't even listen. Don't even give it a try.
You
made up your mind, right, before you heard it.
Yeah. All right, man. So what we're gonna do here, we are going to switch worlds, and we will see you when we get back. Yeah, man. All right. So we're switching worlds here, and usually every single episode at this point, I like to give a shout out to somebody who's been on my mind, who deserves a shout out in my mind. So Max, since you're here, I'm gonna give you the stage, and why don't you give a shout out to somebody?
I'm gonna give a shout out to. Does it have to be somebody personal?
It can be anybody, man. It can be anybody, anything.
Let's see. Who are we gonna give a shout out to? Who are we gonna give a shout out to? You know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to Candace Owens.
Hey.
She used to be someone who trolled black people all the time on that old network she worked on.
Yep.
And then she got fired. And she hasn't been doing the trolling of black folks anymore. But she's gotten to this whole other issue with the fighting creating a civil war with the right when it comes to the issue of Israel. And I've seen her do episodes on the plane that disappeared. Remember that plane that disappeared and then they couldn't find it?
Yep.
Over the Pacific Ocean. I've seen her done episodes on Kennedy assassination. She's very respectful of this conspiracy theory world. She's not trying to grift. She wants to, but she's looking for answers out here, and she's not afraid of the controversy. So yeah, I'm giving her a shout out for stirring it up.
Stir it up. Perfect. And we're back. All right. So at this point in the show, I like to call this the Stortini verse. So as you know, I like to pick some music. I like to pick a documentary, and I like to do a challenge. So I'm gonna have you do the challenge. So have that in the back of your head. That's the last step of the process here. So today for music, Max, talking about conspiracies and all this. Fantastic conversation, by the way. Some people are just where is it here? Some people are just blinded by the light, man. Manfred Mann's Earth Band, man. Blinded by the light. This tune right here.
Right.
Right?
I discovered this tune from a movie.
That's what I'm saying. My parents used to play this song in their band.
Okay.
And it hit me hard, but it hit me hardest when Blow came out, man. Like,
that's when the movie is that I heard it?
When they used this movie in Blow,
that might have been the movie.
That might have been the movie.
Yeah, where I was like, this song's amazing. So would this be considered yacht rock?
Considered, what is it? I'd say classic rock.
Okay.
Yeah, this is classic rock. This is that old school fucking.
So it's not like quite Phil Collins, Hall & Oates?
Maybe Hall & Oates, maybe a little bit, but all right, Hall & Oates, man, good call. Isn't this?
All I see is Penelope Cruz. Rock. Yeah, this is classic rock. Yeah, this is not quite yacht rock. This is still rock and roll.
Yeah, this is still rock and roll, man. This is that classic. But anyways, I wanted to give a big shout out to this band, and especially this tune. This tune, when you have a tune this big, you know what I mean? It's just a perfect vibe. It can encapsulate a certain feeling, a certain time, and you know what? That's, again, I'm going to bring up the point. AI can't do that shit, and AI will never be able to do that shit. No.
And anybody who is afraid of that, like, wake up and relax. Take a chill pill. Anybody who is worried about AI taking over, I promise you, it will not happen. I work for a car company.
Yeah.
I've been working for that car company for over 20 years.
Yeah, you're a vet.
When I first got there, they were telling us the robots are going to take our jobs.
Yep.
2025, there is not one extra robot in that plant. It's still the same. We're running it the same way. Yeah. There's certain things we do. There's certain things robots can do. Yeah, when it comes to originality, creativity, anything that is cool.
As soul.
Look at the
Yes.
artwork. Have you seen any AI artwork that actually makes you look at it like you look at a real painting?
It differentiates real dudes to lames, man.
Oh yeah, the value on originators in this AI world. Maybe these kids don't know nothing about original people, and maybe that's why they're so scared of AI. But in our
Yes,
world, kids,
it's true.
you were like you were cool when nobody had the sneakers that you had.
Yes.
You
Yes.
were cool when nobody rapped the way you rapped. You were cool when nobody thought the
Oh,
way
you're
you
so
thought and
right,
had the
dude.
jokes you had, right? That's what made you cool.
We one of a
This era
kind,
where
man.
everybody wants to fit in and everybody
Oh,
wants to be the same and who does the best carbon copy, right?
oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
You know what you
AI will
deserve,
kill all
man?
that. AI will kill all of you people. Like, you know what
I'm
I'm
telling
saying?
you, man. I tell my son that I say this all the time. I tell him every single night. I'm like, do not copy what everybody else is doing. Be
Hmm.
your own man and
Now
have them
you
chase.
do have to tell them how difficult that is, though.
That's
You're
why I
going
tell
to
him
be
that every
alone
night.
when you do that. They're
Yes.
going to laugh at you when you do that. They're
Yeah.
going to make fun of you when you do that.
Yeah.
But you will get the girls. You will make the money. You will be the one they call cool. I promise you.
Promise you. Promise you. All right, let's jump into. Speaking of cool, we're gonna jump into the documentary suggestion I had for this week. And this week, this one was on Netflix and it grabbed me, man. This one is called "Start Up, Fall Down: From Billionaire to Convict." It's about this Italian dude who started this website basically back in the day, Max, where this dude, it was a website you could compare mortgages, you could compare car
Oh,
prices, and
start
it
up, fall down like grand opening, grand closing.
boom. And his
Okay.
startup, he became like an absolute billionaire, right? And then
Hmm.
he sold the company, and
Hmm.
he's a genius when it came to that. But what happened was he sold his company, made all that money. He went and partied, and this dude partied. Listen,
Blinded by
this
the night.
dude during COVID, he had these parties, man, where he had this like in Milan, he had this spot where it was like right in the square, and he had this penthouse, and it had fucking real olive trees in it, and and when nobody was clubbing, he had the club in his house, and he had
Hmm.
one elevator in the entire building, and it only went to his apartment, and
Hmm.
he would have parties for the decent people in the daytime, like the
Hmm.
people with kids. He'd put out fruits and everything like that. Then when they'd leave, he brought in the girls, and he'd take the fruit away, and he put the cocaine.
That's
His
exactly
quote,
how Diddy would do it too.
that's it. That's
Hmm.
what I was thinking while I was watching it. Actually, this dude is the Italian Diddy. He's like
Hmm.
the day. So this is the quote of the documentary. If this doesn't make it, he goes. He was doing his deposition, and he was talking to the lawyer, and he goes, "To be completely honest with you, for 4 years, I didn't go 24 hours without doing cocaine." For 4 years.
That's
But this
wild.
dude, no laughing matter. He got real dark, and the point of the documentary is like it just you do 4 years of doing coke every single day and partying like that. It got super weird with the girls. It got into some Epstein shit where he had like these super young girls. He was putting them on that pink shit, whatever that pink coke is called. It's not even
Yeah,
coke. What's that called? The pink stuff.
the chase for that
Yeah.
initial high, and you
Yes.
never get it, and you
And
just
so
keep chasing and chasing, and the girls get younger, and you're bringing the coke turns pink, and it just gets crazy, you know,
the
it gets crazy.
ketamine, the K holes, and all that. And yeah, he ended up doing some jail time. But I suggest watching this documentary because it kind of goes along with the whole thing that we've been talking about this whole episode, the rise to power with money. And then it's like there are certain, like you said off the top, there are certain people in the world when you get older, when you look at them, you can just tell, Chico, that they're just not from here.
No,
They're
no,
just not from here.
there's different. There's like oh, you sold a lot of drugs, you're a bad person, and then
Nah.
there's like that Epstein stuff where it's like, whoa. You
Yeah.
can't even explain it. You can't even put yourself in the person's shoes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, no.
that's the thing, right? You know?
Yeah. And up next, we'll finish it off the Stortini verse. I always give a challenge for people to go into their weekend with, and why don't I'm gonna leave that to you, man. Why don't you give them a challenge? I remember the last challenge you gave was a brilliant one. Is stop looking at the media. You're like step away from the news. That was what you said. It was brilliant. I loved it. So why don't you give these people a challenge, man, for the weekend?
Let's challenge ourselves to when we get hit with these big stories, like
Yeah.
the Epstein story. let's challenge ourselves the next time we get hit with a big story like the Epstein, because there will be another one.
Yes.
Let's look around instead of narrowing in on the big story. Let everyone else look over there. The next big story that comes out, when everyone's looking that way, I want you to look around and see what you see. That's the challenge.
I like that.
That's the challenge. What are we missing? What are we missing with the next big story? What everybody's paying attention to?
Look, you're saying basically look past it. There's something else going on, because this shit right here was placed for you to soak up.
And not necessarily on conspiracy shit like they're trying to distract us, even though they do that. They do that. But I'm just talking about, like, what are we missing when everybody's got their focus, their YouTube feed, their Twitter feed, their Instagram, their TikTok. Everybody's got this story blasting at them. And we all know these different stories that popped up, right? Whenever the next one comes, the challenge is look around. Don't look where everybody else is looking. Don't tell you what's happening. Don't worry. You won't miss nothing. You know? Look around.
I like that. Look around, man. That's the truth. I like that. It's so simple, but it's so true. And
it's true. People forget to look around, but it's important. You know?
Yeah, you need to look up, man. Look up, see what's going on in the sky. Look around. It's so true. It's true. Some people need to be reminded of that, man.
Because we're in our bubbles. We're all in our bubbles. The algorithm creates the bubble for us, you know?
Yep. Yeah. All right. Let's end this, man. And we're going to end this with, I always like to end it now with a little wise guy debate. Your last one was brilliant, too. The Corvette or the, when I called you, like, that shit was built. That shit was built for the pussy.
I was into cars when I was a kid. Like, my pops told me he didn't have to buy me no toys because all I needed was Hot Wheels or Mattel.
That, my boy, that's all he wants. That's all he wants.
Oh yeah,
is just Hot Wheel toys. Oh, he has like 100 of these cars up in his room.
That's so cool. Being connected with the past, like that's something boys did before I was like kids in the 50s did that shit.
And I was just gonna say, I don't mind going to Loblaws and looking at all the cars with them and picking out that one. It's kind of fun.
It's not like buying him a PlayStation 17. You know what I mean?
No, it's cars, man, cars. But my question for this week, for the little wise guy debate here, is I wanted to ask you, see if you could be able to choose this before we get out of here. So, what do you think would be essential in an Italian's travel bag? So, like my grandfather, rest in peace, when we went and we did our trip to Italy, what do you think was essential when he was leaving? He's like, do I make sure, I don't have that much room in my travel bag, but I gotta make sure I gotta take one of these two. Should I take my Vitalis hair tonic or a little travel case of Metamucil? Which one of these things you think that old school Italian is not leaving home without? The Vitalis hair tonic or the Metamucil fiber? What do you think?
Hair tonic.
Yeah.
It only takes a couple of minutes, especially with you Italians.
Yeah, that's it.
To work that lady over and knock her socks off. And you can spend the rest of the time working on your bathroom issues, wishing you had the Metamucil. But the hair tonic is vital. It's vital. You need to be sharp. Don't ever leave the house not
vital, fresh. Man. You nailed it. Vital, Vitalis, man. My grandfather had both of these things. These were heavy in his life, man. And I remember my entire life, this was always in his bathroom, right? Always. And I remember watching him do it. He was so quick and so fast. He'd take it, and his hair went perfect, so quick and so fast.
And that's just like boom,
and he's done. But the thing is this Metamucil thing is like, my grandfather was like, as he got older too, is like, I don't want to talk about his bowels right now, but it was so funny. I used to joke with him. We would have these big Italian dinners, the whole family over, right? And he used to make the salads from his garden, right? And the fresh tomatoes and all this, the fresh salad. He make the dinner, and then he would put wheat germ on it, but I always thought he was putting Metamucil on it, right? So I remember we were at the dinner table, I'm like, Grandpa, did you put Metamucil on this salad? And when I said that to him, he spit out a ravioli. He started laughing. He spit out a ravioli. He's like, I didn't put Metamucil in this shit. Sweet germ. But yeah,
it's kind of the same purpose though.
It's the same game. Well, Max, that shit was so much fun. And why don't we give them a little hint of what might be coming? We're working in the process, man.
Yeah, we're working.
We're thinking about starting the Max and Poe show, a little fun little side project. Because I basically, Max, you're a fucking star. And you always have been a star, and you need that, like this. You need more fucking airtime. That's basically what I'm saying. Max P is a fucking entertainer. He's a star. So we're working on a little side project called the Max and Poe Show, and coming soon, probably sometime this winter. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. Max, before we get out of here, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Just check out my Instagram for a little preview of what you might get on the Max and Poe Show. And I'll drop a new episode today. NFL picks and some polos.
All right, cool. Thanks again for coming on, man. It's been always just so easy and so much fun. So everybody have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. And don't forget, I love you.
Conspirepstein Brain.
Thank you for listening or watching this episode. It means a lot, genuinely. And remember, new episodes drop every single Friday, so please hit subscribe wherever you're catching this pod, whether it's Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. And please hit that 5-star review, as that nudges the silly little algorithm to reach out to more ears and more eyes. Have a great weekend, and don't forget, I love you.